it's not right and it's not effective and it causes disaster.
Why would you just spend billions and trillions of pounds and dollars for 20 years and leave it like this? So what was the point of this bloodshed?
The Americans forced them into submission to the Taliban.
But the issues have to be immediately the security of people that are at risk in Afghanistan at the present time.
I'm here outside Parliament at a Stop the War protest. There's a lot of anger here, but also an overwhelming feeling of resignation. In the building ahead of me, MPs are debating what happens next. But for many, it's too little, too late. Former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn was among those who made speeches outside Parliament this morning.
I'm hoping that the government will both explain the chaos of the evacuation, will agree on a much larger number of refugees coming to this country with support for them, drop the anti-refugee rhetoric that Priti Patel has been dishing out for the past few months, and above all give us some inkling they're going to learn the foreign policy lessons. Britain, after all, was responsible for training the Afghan army. Britain, after all, set up an officers training corps for the Afghan army, and the result has not been a good one.
He's not alone in feeling angry and upset. Many feel that this war has been a waste of money and lives.
The real problem is that the decision was made to invade in the first place. And the idea that, it's not right and it's not effective and it causes disaster for the Western powers to try and impose their will militarily in different parts of the globe is something that they just can't even approach as an issue.
Mohammed Khalid has lived in Britain for 20 years, having fled the Taliban decades ago. Many members of his family are still in Afghanistan.
I know how they treat people. Okay, right now they say in TVs, we're not going to say anything to anybody, even you are in the army force or you've been working with anything. Not going to say anything, but it's not true. They will slowly torture every single one who have served with the previous government. My own family, my nephew, my nieces, the girls, they're working hard for the last 10 years, but they've already been told, don't come to work anymore. That's my own niece. She's a hard worker. She has home now. So who's going to feed her now?
On Monday, Joe Biden defended the US's decision to bring troops out of Afghanistan. He accused the Afghan army of failing to fight their own war.
Afghanistan political leaders gave up and fled the country. The Afghan military collapsed, sometime without trying to fight.
But there are many who disagree. Rafi worked as an Afghan interpreter for the UK between 2006 and 2011. He spoke about the sacrifices made by the Afghan people during this war.
Suddenly, in the past month and so, the Americans stopped all their support. Our soldiers were left in a situation that they have fought to the last bullet that they had. And in that kind of situation, the Taliban captured and killed them. The remaining units were not beaten in a war, but the Americans forced them into submission to the Taliban. Now, the entire nation feels betrayed. We feel angry. We feel let down by the Americans, the partners who we thought will stand by us in this war against terrorism.
We cannot accommodate 20,000 people all in one go.
As people flee en masse from the country, the UK has so far pledged to take 5,000 refugees. But do we owe it to the Afghan people to take everyone we can?
5,000 in the next year, that is an absolute disgrace. We should be saying, given our central role in this operation, given our responsibility for all the damage done, we should be saying that any Afghan who wants to come and live in Britain is welcome here and we should resettle them.
Our army, our forces help them, and they should back them up. Especially who serve for British Army. It's all of them, but especially them. But just a scary world now there. It's a totally scary world. When I speak with my families, they can't, even here, when I'm looking around, I'm thinking, there might be somebody around me. 20 years passed, but it's still in my head. Their fear, their danger, everything.